My wife loves knickknacks, and she's got these glass fish that she wants a shelf made for, and this is going to go in our downstairs bathroom. And so I've drawn out a pattern for a fish here and marked it where I want the shelves. They're going to be equidistant apart up through there. So there's my fish. And the next step is to draw a line right up the middle and cut along that line. And we'll be just using 1/2 of the pattern for both sides. So I'll take that part and throw it away. I've got my shelves marked out there with my measurements written right on the pattern so I can remember. So I'll cut the pattern out here, and then what we'll do is, this is the right side of the pattern right here. Right side of the unit, and then when you flip it over you get the left side, and it'll be nice and symmetrical that way. So this is the little bathroom. It's a half bath downstairs, and there's the corner that this is going to go in. We've got the fish theme going on here. A few years ago I cut out some fish out of oak plywood, put them up in the bathroom. Got a lot of homemade stuff around the house. So it's going to go right in that corner, and I took the pattern and taped it up on the wall just to get an idea of what this fish is going to look like in there. So this is a piece of white pine. It's got some knots in the end there, so I'll take the chop saw and cut those off. When we run this through the planer, it's good to not have knots in the end of the board. And we'll measure out, make sure we have enough length for the 2 halves of the fish. And square off the other end. Like to have nice ends to run through the planer. Now we'll get the planer set up, and when this lumber comes from the mill, it's 1 inch thick. And so I'll dial the planer in and make several passes, take off just a little bit each time until I get down to the 3/4 inches, 3/4 of an inch thick. And there we go. And in my shop I've got a vacuum system, so I can just sweep the chips into this little thing. It goes down into the bag down at the vacuum. And now I'll lay my fish on there just to make sure I've got a long enough board for both halves, which I do. And the next step is to get a nice square edge on the board. And to do that, we run it through the joiner. Make a couple passes through the joiner here. It makes a nice smooth and square edge on your board. I only need to do it on one edge. There's the rough side there. You can see the difference, how nice and smooth and straight that is down through there. So now when we're going to cut a 45-degree cut in our board. So I put the flat side, that nice jointed side, up against the fence there. When I run it through, it makes a nice straight 45-degree cut. And we'll lay the pattern on there. The straight side of the fish there goes down the 45-degree side, and then I'll draw the fish out. Don't have to be too particular here, because just get a get it close so that when I go to run it through my saw, that I can make a nice round curve there on the bandsaw. So now we'll take those the ends of the fish. Want those to be nice and straight and square, so I'll cut them off again on the miter saw. There's the second one. Okay, now I've cut the one side out on the bandsaw, and here we go with the other side of the fish. Now I'll take the two halves, kind of hold them up together, put the two 45s together, and that way this thing is going to fit right into the corner of the bathroom. Now it's nice to have nice round edges on the boards, and so I have a nice bit in my router table here that puts a nice round edge on the board. This bit has a wheel on the top, and you hold the board right up against that little wheel on the cutter, and it follows the board right along, and the little wheel spins so it won't burn your board as you're shoving it through there. Run across the bottom of the fish. Just do the one side, the side that's going to face outward. So there it is. On the left side right there, it's all nice and smooth and nice round edge. And I got my little compressor going. About a year ago I bought my first air nailer, so I'll be using that. When you're gluing now, you don't want to use too much glue, just a little dab down the center of the edge there, and then I take a paintbrush and smooth it out across the board so that it's nice and even down through there. If you use too much glue, when you put the two halves together, it'll just squeeze out anyway and get all over your board. The glues today are so good that just a little bit is all you need. And the nice thing about the air nailer is you can hold your project where you want it, and when you squeeze that trigger, it pops it right in there. Has its advantages and disadvantages. The old-fashioned way with a hammer, you can put the nail in halfway if you want to. With the air nailer, it drives it all the way. So if you don't have it lined up just right, it's liable to come poking out where you don't want it to. Now here's the little shelves. I cut two of them so far, so I have to cut the other three. And at various places along the fish there, it's different lengths. Each shelf is a different length. This one's about 3 1/4 inches, and so I'll mark that, and then hold my compass and scribe a semicircle on there. I was in kind of a hurry here. I didn't get it just right, so I was off just a little bit. So I fixed that. Now I put it on the bandsaw, and when you run the bandsaw, nice and easy and steady push through the wood without stopping will leave you a nice straight even edge with no jagged edges or anything on it. Then each one of these little shelves I'll run through the router again. You can see that little wheel on top of the bit there, see it? So you hold that board right up against that little wheel, and it guides the wood, and then the cutter's below it, and it rounds that off. Some of the old-fashioned cutters would burn the wood, but with that wheel it spins so it doesn't burn. So there it is. There's the fish. Sort of looks like a rocket ship. So now I take it in and put the fish on there, see what it'll look like. I'll probably make another one, change it just a little bit, get it the way I want it.